Welcome back to this next video of the actual RP9 mobile prototyping course. We've set up our layout for our mobile app because we're going to be prototyping using previewing our work on Samsung Galaxy Note 4, and we have the width and we have the height as this, which is this page here. And actual RP gives us the ability to work on this area, so anything we'll design here is not going to show within the page or the screen or the prototype. So we're going to be prototyping our splash screen. Every mobile app, it's going to have a splash screen. Okay, when your user or your stakeholder download your mobile app from the App Store or from Play Store and they install it on their mobile device, the moment they start that application, the moment they open it, the first ever screen a mobile app is going to have is the splash screen or a startup screen. So the first place to start any mobile prototyping at all is the splash screen, because we are walking through the user journey and the user flow where each page is going to start and where each page is going to end. And it's always a good idea to start a mobile prototype with the first screen, which is the splash screen. So we're going to add some widget on our splash screen right now, and we're going to preview it as well. So the splash screen usually will have an image which will reflect or an icon which is going to reflect the brand. So we're just going to reduce the size a little bit and maybe say this is going to be the logo, and we have what we need to do also, again, we need to add a rectangle widget so that we can make sure that our rectangle widget always there. So what we be using here, how I prototype, instead of dragging and trying to fit it to this area, we can also just make sure we set it to 0 and 0 so that we can drag it to our end point, and also drag this to the end point as well. We're going to save our work and we're going to call it Introduction to Actual RP9 Mobile Prototyping Course. So we've saved that, and we can see the name appears at the top here. We say Introduction to Actual RP Mobile Prototyping Course, which is very handy for us to see. The next thing, we need to remove the border of the rectangle widget that we have here, and before we will have the ability to to actually make it none here, or we can as well just set it to 0, which the border will disappear from it. The next thing we need to do is that we have our image. So this is the main screen area. What we need to do, we need to send this to back, and we just say send to back, and we send this to back. Once we've sent this to back, we now have this icon display here. We can hold our shift key down and make it a perfect circle for our logo, and we can drop a placeholder, which is, we can name this, let's say logo, or let's say my first actual RP9 mobile app. Now we have this actual RP9 mobile app, and we can reduce the size just to make sure, and we reduce the font size to probably 18. Or we can make it a little bit smaller to 15 or 14 if we prefer. So once we've done that, we can adjust it. We can align center and then align middle. So this is our mobile app. We can change the font if we want. I prefer to use a font called Roboto, which is popular within Android, and we can select the top then what we need to do, we need to align center for this, and we group this together. Once we've done that, we can highlight the main cover area and then highlight the logo of our app and also the name of our app, and then we can align center as well. We save that. The next thing we need to do is that we need to make sure that we have our prototype, our prototype is named properly. So what we need to do, we need to give this a name which will say our rectangle name. We can say splash screen container. So we have this as our splash screen container, and that is the name. So whenever we'll select this, we know that this is our splash screen container, which is very handy as well. Also, we can name this as our app logo, and we can name this text as our app name label, which is LBL. So once we've done that, we can look at the name. We have this our app name label, we have this our app logo, and we have this as our splash screen container. So anything we preview here is going to show. The next thing that normally appear on a splash screen is usually maybe like a version or about the company. So we can just call this version. I'm going to drop another one here again, and then you double click and say version. All right, once we've saved that as version, we can make this maybe 10, which is a little bit smaller, and we can increase the size and just make sure we have it here. We can change the font as well to Roboto. So we have this as version, and we have this. So we need to make sure that we align everything properly. So we highlight this and we highlight this version, and we say align center. We can group this and then make sure we align it inside the splash screen container, right? So we click on the splash screen container and then click on what we've already grouped inside the container, and then we can align center as well, which is perfect. So what we need to do, we need to preview this work on our browser. For now, we're going to preview it on browser, and we just press this green play button, or we can go to publish and we can say preview. So I'm just going to say preview here, and we see that our app as shown here, which is very, very handy indeed. If we need to increase the size, we can just increase the size a bit so that we can see what we are doing, which is very good. We can make it 175. So we have our first screen of our mobile app in Actual RP9, and anything we drop inside this is going to be displayed here. So this is how our app is looking, and the next tutorial we're going to be looking on the next page, how we're going to be putting up more content on our page and creating new pages as well. See you in the next tutorial. Thank you.